watching this that are on HubSpot right now, there's so much data, right? Data is king nowadays. We need to learn so much about the data within our portal. So this can actually, through chat, give you summaries about the data that's actually in your portal. So you can ask it things like create a report of companies that got added in the last quarter and then summarize them by country. And then it goes thinking and then gives you all the details, right?
Does it actually make that noise?
No, I added that bit.
Oh, okay.
Can you do that as a sound effect?
Welcome to Under the Hood.
We are for another episode of course, the wonderful Under the Hood with myself, Tony Eads, and across the table, Gabe McCarthy.
Thank you for the intro. I wasn't sure if you were going to introduce me or I need to introduce myself, but you held it over very well. Thank you.
And you look like some kind of naval guy there, where you're just kind of like giving us a salute to another episode. Good on you.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
official.
You. It's good to be back here in the studio. It's been a little bit between recordings, but here we are today, the lovely Bella Vista Hotel. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We've got we're trying a new format this week.
You weren't going to say that. Well, maybe we'll share, because we're very transparent here at Under the Hood. So we will show you that our normal setup wasn't quite right for us when we got in there. So Gabe has improvised. So we might show you some behind the scenes of what's happening in the studio.
In fact, I'll put up in post now that photo you just took of me setting up. It's up now. You like that? That's what we're working with today, a 2-camera setup. But it's fine. And look, we still got the same sound equipment as always. So thank you, Bella Vista, for having us with this lovely equipment. And thank you for accommodating us and providing us some tape to put these cameras up.
That's very obliging. And also thank you to you for listening in and being part of this. If you're subscribing, welcome along. If you're a new subscriber, that is, we like fresh new subscribers. So thanks for joining us, whether you're watching this as a vidcast or indeed as a podcast.
Indeed.
Listening or watching, whatever your preference is.
No judgment here. No judgment here. And look, and a big thank you as well for joining in today. We're going to outline the topic for you. But before we do so with today's topic, let's outline the rules for people who are new. So the rules are of this podcast and vidcast is that we have 10 minutes. 10 minutes, that is all, until the timer goes off and we have to stop talking about today's topic. We're just going to keep it, conversational, quick, fast, and really get to the point and not fluff about and waffle on. Okay?
Even though the intro's taken about 10 minutes already. But we're not timing yet.
No, we're not on timer right now, but Tony's going to hit the timer in a second and tell us what today's topic is. And also stay tuned towards the end where we'll have our toolkit section. And we're going to have a really cool set of tools to talk about today that you can take away at the end of this episode.
Yes, I saw you rummaging around in your toolkit earlier on, so I'm expecting something good to
And your hands were in there as well.
In my toolkit.
Well, I think we were sharing toolkits today.
Well, there might be some similarities between what's in yours and mine. Anyway, shall I start the timer, sir? Yes?
Absolutely, please do.
All right, clock is on and we are away. 10 minutes on the subject of, if you've had a look at it beforehand, sack your sales team and invest in automation. Now, if you are a salesperson, please don't tune out right now, because it's not really exactly about sacking your sales team.
Well, yes, maybe we should clarify for anyone who's listening and looking at the topic going, what the hell are they talking about? They're going to take away my jobs? Is AI going to take away my jobs? Are they encouraging that? That's not at all what we're saying. What Tony is alluding to with that is basically we're talking about automation and AI becoming more and more prevalent amongst everyone's jobs these days, sales, marketing, service. Doesn't really matter what you're in, but in particular in sales. Your job a year ago from today is probably way different to what it is now, thanks to automation and AI. I mean, that's pretty true for a lot of industries. I think in one particular is the recruitment industry in particular.
That's changed.
It's huge. Yep. I mean, recruiters, the most classic salespeople now have accessibility to AI and automation tools that basically you can put, as an example, in your CRM, the CVs of all your applicants, and the CRM can automate and generate automatically all their job titles that they've had before, the ones they're going for, their salary expectations, their history. They can basically take that all out for you, avoid you having to read it all and put them into segmented lists. It's like, I want to see everyone who's had at least 5 years experience in this job, and then generate a list straight for you. Super quick, right?
Well, you think about how much time you're saving, because I had a couple of stats here. 30% of sales-related activities can be automated, according to McKinsey.
30%?
30%. So you think about it as a salesperson or anybody running a business with sales activities, because, of course, as we said before, everybody's selling today. Like, we're all part of the business, part of the revenue team, the growth team. 30% of your time could be saved by using automation.
Yeah, and I think they project it to be even higher in the future, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, think about with the recent upsurge of the pandemic, you know, over those 2 years, one big area in particular, telehealth, rose up with, a whole lot of new AI and automation capabilities that can basically navigate people through as patients to find out what ailments they have and get them the right kind of assistance and service that they need, and that's basically cutting out the middleman of the salesperson altogether when you think about it.
Well, self-serve is a big thing, isn't it now? Go to the supermarket, you got to self-checkout. I think now when we always talk about the buyer journey is making it super easy for people to self-serve themselves, right? To even get through to buying the product by navigating the journey.
You were talking about a while ago with, I think, was it Amazon who introduced, or maybe it was a different company that introduced the shopping cart, the automated shopping cart when you walked through.
That's right.
Yeah. What was that all about? I want to know a bit more about that.
So obviously Amazon have got their Amazon Go, which are stores that they did for Amazon, but they're also doing it in America now for other grocery stores as well, where it's seamless shopping. Basically, you walk in and it detects who you are, obviously through your phone or whatever that might be, and then anything you take from the shelf, it automatically calculates, and you just walk out. Almost like you've stolen the stuff, but you haven't, because it then taps your credit card and bills you for the stuff. But no checkouts, no queues, just in and out, and you build. How seamless and great's that?
That's amazing. And if you could think about it, how that could be applied to sort of the more sales-oriented traditional role industries, right? Those companies that rely on those salespeople to, get the sale across the line, as opposed to, all of that commercial stuff. Like, you're thinking about how that can translate later down the track into smaller businesses, especially small to medium businesses. There could be a huge shift in the way salespeople work. But do you feel like they're going to be cut out entirely?
Well, no, and that's why we said at the beginning as a disclaimer that I think is, if you are, though, a traditional salesperson going back where everything is manual, you're writing things down and you're
like
using
Tony
old
does.
spreadsheets, like me.
Doesn't annoy me at all.
then our kind of our jobs are a little bit limited, right? And it's not just AI that's going to do this, it's just that we're going to be against other salespeople that are a lot more effective, because like 30% of their time is being automated, plus they're using data, because if you do everything manually, you're not getting the data, right? You're not getting that really interesting data about how someone came to you to get to that sales call at the end. And that's what you're missing out, which we talk about the CRM, right? How important that customer relationship manager is to actually track what people are doing and how they get to you. So by the time we're in a sales call situation, we actually know everything we need to know about that customer to do the final
and that
deal.
human intervention bit, like you said, it's like having that automation reduces all that wasted time digging through information. Like we talked about with that CV example with recruiters, that's a huge time saver. We use that as well at Salted Stone with our HubSpot instances. We're able to basically extract a lot of background on the intro calls that we do with new potential prospects and also pre-existing clients we've worked with before who come back to us. We can look at the history, really quick in that instance, look at the activity and go, okay, I know how to approach this one, because it's a much easier sell versus one that might need more educating.
We should be saying this, because there could be potential customers watching this, knowing that we've got big brother data that we're working on. But we use it all in the right context,
ethically.
And you know what? We use it for the benefit of the actual future customer, right? Because nothing is more frustrating than you calling somebody up, or you're going through the process and they know nothing about you, and then you have to repeat yourself every time you go to different stages of the journey. Right? That's one of the big takeaways, is people want you to know who they are and what they want by the time they get to that final sales call.
Exactly. So, I mean, now let's talk about, we've talked about the problem, we've talked about where things are going. What should we be doing now, Tony, you reckon, as probably the first priorities as sales reps and also just companies in general working with sales reps? How can we prep those people to be more empowered by AI and automation tools?
Yeah, cool. Well, I think, one of the things to probably start with is qualification. Like going back to what I was just saying before. And again, a stat, I love these stats. 77% of B2B buyers state that their last purchase was very complex or difficult. I mean, that's a massive stat, right? Almost 80% of B2B buyers, because that's a more complex transaction than just a retail transaction, are saying it was too complex or too difficult. So we need to qualify people throughout the process and make it super easy for them to take that very next step. So using HubSpot as an example, you can automate most of that buyer journey and track all of that great data as it comes through. But especially at that last point when someone requests the demo or they actually want to, you know, see the product live, there's lots of things you can do to help prep that and follow up on those calls, make it easy.
And then also educating and I think training the sales team to understand the value in those kinds of contacts where they are in their buyer journey and who are most appropriate to follow up on, where they should be spending more of their time on versus those they shouldn't be spending so much time on. And I think automating your comms is another one while prospecting, meetings, follow-up emails, using automated emails and even chatbots to some certain extent will really help with that. I think there's a stat here to increase response rates, personalize 30 to 50% of your content, but no more, they say. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think I do. And, I added to that because I thought, you mentioned AI at the very beginning, so I thought I'd call my friend up, Chat GPT.
Good old...
Not because I'm lazy, but because I just wanted to see where Chat GPT...
No, Tony is not a lazy person at all.
And according to Chat GPT, very, very quickly here, they say many aspects of the sales process can be automated, right? Including lead generation, lead qualification, as we just mentioned, lead nurturing, sales outreach, like tools like sales engagement platforms, customer relationship management, CRMs, as we mentioned, and sales reporting, are all basic stuff that they're saying. But all of that you could take. Now, you think how much of your job, if you're in sales or at that like last end of the buyer journey, is actually any of those things that could be automated. I think it's important to see how can we do that, automate more.
Yeah, well, talking to the show Under the Hood and looking at some of the technology that can support that, definitely HubSpot is a key factor in that. But traditional sales tools people are using all the time, email, phone calls, SMS, even LinkedIn, those platforms can all tie into your central system like HubSpot, like in your CRM to the contact record, so that you're not missing out on understanding any of those comms, any of those touch points. So you're not double dipping, especially. Right. I hate those emails and those phone calls I constantly get from salespeople where I've already spoken to them and say I'm not interested or I need more time to think, know?
Yeah. And I think if we go to the very end of the journey, which is the sales call itself, being able to record the sales call where you're going through it, but then using platforms that are out there like Gong, Wingman, Chorus, or some of these ones where you can record the call and then it will actually use AI to pick up certain things in the call. So at the end of it, it will tell you call to actions that you've promised or said that you're going to do, like key points of the sales call that you need to know. So instead of going through an hour-long sales call, you go through a very streamlined action plan of what to do next on the journey to actually close that deal.
Yeah, and then even with those automations, tie in other aspects of your business. So like operations, or service, if there's onboarding required for a product you've just sold, all those things can be tied in together with that communication tool. So like to your point with a transcript, you could pull out key terms from there saying, yep, ready to buy or something as a particular one, or ready to be onboarded as a particular call phrase. That gets automated into your CRM, and then the service team would be notified after the sales call is done to, commence that onboarding.
And don't forget about the proposal as well. Because you can automate the proposal. And I got that in very quickly because I could see there was only 2 sequends left.
You cheated. See, Tony can see the clock and I can't. So
just to finish, because I started, so I will finish. So using tools like Quilla, PandaDoc, ClientPoint, are all ways of automating the biggest thing I think salespeople go through, which is the damn proposal. Like, how do I get that proposal done quickly when I know the person is ready to buy from me? So connecting those two platforms like HubSpot can take all of that CRM data and pre-populate your proposal for you, making it super easy. So salespeople aren't out of a job. We're just making it damn sight easier for you.
Yep. We're empowering salespeople, all right? We're not saying sack them. We're saying empower them, which is another whole other thing that we're getting to. And that's a good point to end on, Tony. And also, if you want to know more about those tools that Tony was referring to, Quilla and PandaDoc, look to the last episode because I actually divulged a little bit in them in my toolkit.
Talking of which, it's time for...
The Toolkit.
So you guys can't see. I'm probably going to edit this out. I'll definitely
Why?
edit that last bit out. But essentially, we know that there's a theme tune and stuff that comes in, as you just heard, and Tony and I just freeze for a second.
Yeah, because there's no sound in the studio. We're not that advanced here. So you're rummaging around that toolkit before we got in there. What did you find? What did you pull out of the toolkit
It's funny you mentioned looking in my toolkit, because I was looking in your toolkit, and it turns out that Tony and I have the exact same.
You're getting pretty desperate if you're now looking in my toolkit.
We have the exact same toolkit for this episode, but we're going to talk to two different parts of it. So essentially, HubSpot have just announced that they're going to be releasing this chatspot.ai integration with their CRM. It's obviously a big call to what's happening with AI at the moment.
And ChatGPT and all that stuff, yeah.
Exactly. So they've jumped on the bandwagon and done it in quite a flourish. It's interesting. They're looking at it in a two-pronged approach for now. The one is on more the marketing aspect. So they've got this one called Content Assist, which is an integration with the HubSpot CRM that's going to help you with AI-generated and automated content. The other is ChatSpot by HubSpot, which is more an assistance on the sales end. So I'll talk a bit to the Content Assist first, Tony, because I'll let you speak to the ChatSpot one.
As soon as I had that in my toolkit, you just grabbed it out.
Yeah.
You talk about the content side.
I split it in half evenly. Okay.
Fair's fair.
Fair is fair. Yeah. Okay. So, basically, Content Assist. They say get ready for lightning fast. I love the way they've worded this: lightning fast ideation, creation, and sharing all in one place. And I love that way they've just summed that up. And it's perfect, I think, to how we've been experimenting with ChatGPT recently, because we found out that, like, if you want to get a blog written, Tony tested me out. He sent me a blog, said, "What do you recommend this blog I wrote up?" And I was like, "Looks good. It looks a bit generic, whatever." And he was like, "Aha, ChatGPT wrote this." Okay, so that really calls to the fact that I feel like, and still do, that human intervention will be needed to really firm up a good blog for user experience and to be better written. But what Content Assist aims to do is actually help with suggestions of blog topics based upon your customer insights in your CRM. So you can basically ask the CRM to say, what are the top pages people are viewing from my website, for example, and it might be around one product. And they say, we suggest doing, out of the keywords all within those pages to talk to these keywords within your topic. And that's great as like a starting point of inspiration. Then what they can do is, like, similar to ChatGPT, take in that with a few suggestions and pop it into like a first version of a blog, social posts, landing pages, sales emails, all those kinds of assets you could use, just generate it in a flash. Obviously then, that will streamline the content marketing section of your business, but it won't eliminate the need for someone to look at all that and refine it. So
it's very similar to Jasper. That I've been using, Jasper.ai, except for the fact it's using data from your HubSpot portal.
True.
Your customer insights. So it's that one step. So I think it's what HubSpot's doing, is taking what's out there and adding something new, which is now the one we were just talking about, which is ChatSpot, which again it bolts onto your HubSpot portal. And if any of you watching this that are on HubSpot right now, there's so much data, right? Data is king nowadays. We need to learn so much about the data within our portal. So this can actually, through chat, give you summaries about the data that's actually in your portal. So you can ask it things like, create a report of companies that got added in the last quarter and then summarize them by country. And then it goes thinking and then gives you all the details, right?
Does it actually make that noise?
No, I added that bit.
Oh, okay.
Can you do that as a sound effect? Anyway, so they put it in, but then it can connect to ChatGPT and other kind of AI programs, because you can say, right, out of all of these countries now, show me the population of each of those countries. And obviously that data isn't in your platform, but it can pull it from ChatGPT and add another column which shows all the population. So you can just keep going and asking it to add more data, more information. And again, it's this conversational way, which I think everyone's moving to. Like you talk to it or you type to it like you would be having a conversation with somebody, like an assistant or somebody in your department, where you say, can you create me this? So you actually, it's an addition of what you can do.
And it's brilliant. And I think it's kind of aligns with all what we were just talking about earlier today about, sacking your sales team. But I think it's sacking the part of your sales team's business that they would usually do and replacing it with things that are more efficient for the whole sales process. And I think these will be great additions, especially if you're a HubSpot user. It's in beta at the moment. So sign up and, have a play with it. Rummage around in that toolkit and have a look.
But I think you're right. It's not about sacking yourself. It's about sacking the time you waste in sales.
Yeah.
Because it is. We've got to be so efficient these days. And AI and all of this great technology that's coming out from HubSpot and others is helping us do our job easier. So get amongst it. Get involved in the early stages. Like Gabe and I both signed up for ChatSpot. Because you don't know if you don't use it. I think that's the most important thing. Don't just sit there and wait and then eventually think, oh, well, all the other salespeople are so much more efficient than me. I should have done this a year ago.
Yeah, get ahead of the game, I think is a very good way to summarize that. And don't be afraid as well. AI, it's not going to replace you. It's just going to enhance you.
Talking of which, our next episode.
Oh, what might that be, Mr. Eads?
How about this as a title? Hello.
It's very minimalistic. I quite like it. It could be anything.
Hello, I'm talking to AI or a real human? ?
Interesting.
Because it's getting the line is getting blurred, I think, a little bit in some areas between what is real and what is artificial intelligence. So I reckon we can tackle that.
I think we can, and I've got some clever ideas of what we might sneak into that episode. Might have something to do with ChatGPT.
That one again.
But look, if you enjoyed today's topic, though, tune in for that next episode. But also leave a comment below. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already to this podcast/vidcast, wherever you're listening or watching. Really appreciate, like we said at the beginning, all the support that we've been getting and the great feedback to this show. Really enjoying it, really having a lot of fun. And thanks again to the Hills Podcast Studio at Bella Vista Hotel for having us.
Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Well, I won't be, because I will be an avatar in the next one. So it'll just be Gabe and me as an avatar.
Yes, so pretty much the same as it's always been.
Not that you can tell the difference.
See you guys.